So dear students, you all are welcome to this video subject session of SS where we are discussing the ongoing chapter, that is in history our past 1, why, how and when. So students, our ongoing topic for today's session is that which dates we have seen so far until in our last one of the session, that history is particularly related with the dates, and we read history because it is concerned totally with the dates. Now, by what criteria do we choose a set of dates as important? Now, which criteria? A criteria must be developed so that we can say that a set of dates should be considered as important or not. The dates we select, the dates around which we compose our story of the past, the dates which we are selecting, the dates around us, whatever we are observing, the important events, incidents and various other life stories makes the dates important, are not important on their own, because when something happens in our life, in the same way we only remember the history for some of the dates on which some of the events or incidences happen. Let's take an instance that Britishers used to came in the 16th century, they leave India in 20th century. We only remember some of the dates when British used to came to India and when their rule was there, how our revolutionaries and the freedom fighters had led a fight with the British people. We are remembering only those important dates. They become vital because we focus particular set of events as important. So they become vital, they become important because we are only focusing, so we are focusing only on the dates which are important as per our point of view. If our focus of study changes, if we begin to look at new issues, a new set of dates will appear significant. So when these dates, when we are focusing on a particular set of events, these are as important as we are considering. And if our focus of study changes and if we begin to look at these new issues, a set of the new dates will appear before us. Considering an example in the histories written by British historians in India, the rule of each governor. Now we are taking the examples of the governor when in India the governors used to be there. So these histories begin with the rule of first governor general. So these histories begin basically with the rule of the first governor general's Warren Hastings and ended with the last viceroy, Lord Mountbatten. In separate chapters, we read about the deeds of other Hastings. So, in separate chapters, we are going to read about the history of the various governor generals: Wellesley, Bentinck, Dalhousie, Canning, Lawrence, Lytton, Ripon, Curzon, Harding, Irving, and at last it was the Mountbatten. It was a seemingly never ending succession of governor generals and viceroys. And when we talk about the British rule in India, the various viceroys and the generals have their own history, because we remember those dates when a particular governor general used to came to India and particular another governor general had came on the place of replacing the old governor general. All the dates in these history books were linked to these personalities. In history, all these dates are linked with the personalities, to their activities, policies, achievements, etc. Whatever the particular governor general has achieved, what was the policy, the activities, it was as if there was nothing outside their lives that was important for us to know, and it was nothing outside their life that should seem important to know. We are not focusing on the personal lives of the governor generals, we are only focusing about the lives that is associated with the particular governor generals. So the chronology of their lives was marked the different chapters of the history of British India, and for this reason only the chronology of their lives marked with different chapters of the history of the British India has become very vital for us. Can we not write about the history of this period in a different way? So, cannot we write the history in a different way? How do we focus on the activities of different groups and classes? How can we classify the history of these basic categories, the classes in Indian society with the format of this history of the governor generals. When we write history or a story, we decide it into chapters. We are deciding the history into the various chapters. Why do we do this? It is to give each chapter some coherence. Coherence is another name for importance. So, for in history, we are giving this chapter as incoherent, and it is to tell a story in a way that makes some sense and can be followed. And we only are doing this and studying the history for only a single reason, that can be followed, that can shape the story, and the story should be understandable in a meaningful format. It should not be meaningless. In the process, we focus only on those events that help us to give shape to the story we are telling. So, in the histories that revolve around the life of British governor generals, the activity of Indians simply do not fit. So, when our focus of study is there on Indian governor generals, we should not focus on the Indians, because here we are talking about the particular viewpoint for the governor generals of the Britishers. They have no space. What then we do? So clearly, we need another format for our history. Clearly, we need another format for the history. This would mean that the old dates would no longer have the significance they earlier had. Now, this only means that old dates will have no longer any significance that they should have earlier. A new set of dates will become more important for us to know. So, for this, it is very important for us that we can know these new dates. So, students, for our today's session, we have seen that why we are understanding the dates. In our next video session, we'll focus on how do we periodize. Thank you. Have a nice